But let's come to the stock exchange. It's all about corporate sustainability, and that is the key focus. There's a big story around the world, not just in Nigeria. Sustainability in corporate enterprise is now a big story, and that's what the Nigerian Stock Exchange is also focusing on. So in the new year, 2019, what is the focus here? Let's talk to Bola Adeyeko, who is the head of shared services. The Nigerian Stock Exchange is live to us from our studios inside the Nigerian Stock Exchange in downtown Lagos. Bola Adeyeko, thank you very much. Good morning, and we appreciate your coming through on the program.
Good morning, Bosin, and
it's good to have you.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Yes, thank you so much. So let's get started. When we talk about sustainability, which is now a global trend, in particular in the financial services sector, what's the stock exchange doing in this regard?
Thanks for that question, Bosin. I think it's important to provide some context here. The Nigerian Stock Exchange has been in existence since NSE. And over this years, we've certainly done part to try and make sure that we continue to be a good corporate citizen. I think more specifically back in 2013, we decided to reposition the way we go about not only making ourselves a sustainable exchange, but also affecting the ecosystem within which we operate. And so we decided to go strategic. We created a framework that's hinged on 4 different pillars: community, workplace, marketplace, and the environment. And I think as those 4 words describe, self-describe, they were intended to focus on key areas that when you look at the current SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, they're all perfectly aligned with it. And so if you look at what we've tried to push out in the last 6+ years, we played a very key leading role in issuing the first sovereign green bond by any African sovereign. We've also pushed out sustainability disclosure guidelines to the listed companies to make sure that it's not just about the exchange trying to practice and report on ESG issues, but the larger ecosystem also follows through on that. Just to drill in a little bit on the question you asked up front about the corporate challenge race and how this ties to sustainability. One of the pillars that I just mentioned now is around community. We've done a lot in that area with financial inclusion efforts. We've also done quite a bit in terms of trying to focus on issues that pertain to health. Again, we feel when you run all of this up, it's to try and make sure that the environment within which we operate is a good place, not just for us, but for the larger ecosystem. And I can speak a bit more about the corporate challenge race in a minute.
Yes. Since 2013, it's been about 6 years or so since you put a strategy in place at the stock exchange. How has it really worked? What are the key pillars of this strategy that you've been implementing over the last 5 years plus?
Yeah, so the key pillars, as I mentioned, are 4 in number. And so if I just give you a few examples under each one of them. So for the workplace, which is certainly the closest and nearest to us, where we create an environment that our employees find it a place that they want to come to work every day and also attract other people to feel the same way. We've put in place, employee-friendly initiatives. So for instance, we have a creche in the building that allows for nursing parents, it's not just mothers, to bring their kids to work while they're working. We feel that helps in terms of productivity and also giving peace of mind to employees. We also have a gym in the building that also helps to promote good and healthy living. On the marketplace, I mentioned earlier on the green bond issuance, as well as the sustainability disclosure guidelines that we released recently. It's again under the guise of we want to make sure that products that we put out there are responsible and sustainable. And by virtue of the kind of disclosure guidelines that I just mentioned earlier on, it allows companies that it's not just about focusing on financial information and financial data, but the non-financial as well. So you go back to the ESG metrics, it gives them an opportunity to talk about those things, and certainly for investors that are very keen on investing in companies that are considered as gold standards in that regards, it now gives them a more transparent way to measure those kind of companies.
Okay,
Let me speak to the particular initiative that, sorry.
Yes, I love the 2019 Corporate Challenge. This is a new year, so we want to find out how you're proceeding in the new year. The 6th edition of the your Corporate Challenge is about coming up. So what is it all about? What will change or what will be different for the current year?
Okay. So for the Corporate Challenge race, which is one of the flagship events that we launched about 6 years ago, so it's actually the 6th year in the making. The vision behind that platform was to provide a day, so typically it's on a Saturday morning, for a number of folks to come together and do something that we consider fun but also very important. The focus is to try and draw awareness to cancer. Cancer and the different permutations that exist today takes about 80,000 lives in Nigeria today. Unfortunately, out of about 100,000 cases that are discovered, 80,000 of those people die. We recognize that a good part of why that happens is because of lack of awareness, and people are not, paying attention to those key things that would allow them to, get treated early. So that event is supposed to bring people together, and over the years that we've done this, we've brought together close to about 3,000 runners. And again, it's not just about running, so you can walk and you can choose to sprint if you want. But to bring people together and talk about these issues related to cancer and make sure that when people walk away, they have better understanding as to what to look for. We also want to make sure that we raise money coming out of this event. And over the years, we've raised a gross amount of about 150 million naira, which certainly, while that number seems big, it's still a lot of work to be done in terms of when you look at the actual issue that we're trying to resolve. From an awareness perspective, one of the things that we also track is not just the number of runners, but also the impressions. So the Twitter impressions over the last 6 years again is around 121 million. So what that says is that we have a lot of people that are paying attention to this event, and hopefully with more people being aware of it and changing their lifestyle in terms of not just what we eat, but also exercising properly, I think we'll be able to save more lives.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, when is 2019 Corporate Challenge coming up? Bola.
So for this year, it's going to be on July 6th. We plan to start early in the morning, as we typically do, about 6 a.m. The venue is Muri Okwanla Park in Victoria Island, and it's a 5-kilometer race, walk, if you choose to. And what we expect to do is have people show up on time, get started, and again, while it's supposed to be competitive, we also want to make sure that people have fun. It's going to be a good opportunity for people to also network because we'll have people.
But yes, I want to join you on July 6th.
Sorry?
I got to wake up early. 6 o'clock. I hope if I did that, I've been doing that, perhaps I'll be a little better. But again, if I join you folks, perhaps I will be able to still make it to the studios for 10 o'clock show on July 6th. 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
I have no doubt with your athletic ability, you finished the race in time to get back to the studio.
Yeah, we finish up on time.
But just real quickly before we wrap up, all the information that all the information that people would need, you can find in a dedicated website that we've developed, which is NSE-E-Race. That's E-R-A-C-E cancer.com. Or you can just go to the NSE website and you find a link to take you to this website. The registration is actually started already, and there's a lot of information on that website as well, which we plan to keep live into the future. So it's not just this one-off event as well.
Bola Adeko, Head Shared Services Division at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Thank you very much, and see you on July the 6th.